Titta här! Stoppa miljöman!
Aron. Men de var tvungna att göra det till Jippo för att få komma hit.
Alonso, när det var lite sådär.
No, it's a fucking banana!
No, it's not a banana.
And through it, he builds his inner light. Let us welcome the Prince of Darkness, Andrew. What? Durham? How do you pronounce that name? I mean, it's Durham in the UK. It's Durham. Welcome aboard. Give him a hand. Andrew. Okay.
Bra, fyll lite mer lys. Ja, ja det är bra.
Here we go. Well. The one and only shoeless warrior, Sebastian! Give him a loud round of applause, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you. That was some crazy story, right? But while Andrew prepares his Tales of Darkness, I was inspired by the Cunt, and I thought, Cunt do that too? And I was trying to mix up something in the last 2, 3, 4 hours. So here goes. So why, Cunt? We cannot escape, not into the skies chasing the divinely eternal, nor to the earth, forever eating the dirt of a rotten past. Us loopy-minded masters of deception, boundlessly bouncing between the twins of duality, because we're nothing but a complex of synaptic energies that is engaging in the concept of reality for its own amusement. And in choosing a truth, we choose any mode of insanity with which to fill our reality. Life is hell, life is heaven. Life is hell, life is heaven. Life is hell, life is heaven. And with every breath we take, we die. And with every breath we take, we are reborn. With every fuck, we fuck. And we're also fucked. So why can't I? Liars and whores, a lot of us, seeking substance, meaning, love, any straw to validate our subjective and ultimately doomed existence. And it's all but a reflection of constant vortex of realities smacking us in the face like a bag of doorknobs. So what's a woke man to do, facing the infinite void of everything? You can't escape yourselves. And because if you never dare to do, well then, you just can't. Welcome to the big storm.
Thank you very much, Sebastian. Sebastian. Well, no, is the Prince of Darkness ready? Or... Yes. Okay. Andrew.
Hi. Hi. How are you?
That's right, this is not poetry for the next 15 or 20 minutes. This is a non-fiction talk on psychology. Now, on top of that, I'm going to talk about the last thing you would ever expect to hear at a party. That's right, I'm going to talk about suffering. You know, we're at a party, friends, pretty people, drink, poetry. We're here to have fun. We're here to maybe escape our suffering for a moment. Maybe to find a clue into our suffering. If that is the case, you came to the right place. My talk is called The Recovery of Joy. Because I found in about 21 years of investigation, experimentation, study, that suffering actually is a problem. Most people don't view it as a problem, it's just how life is, you know. Get used to it, stop complaining, go back to work. So, I never believed this, somehow, I just didn't. And I knew there had to be some way to deal with the tidal wave of suffering in the world. And so I went looking. What I concluded was what Freud started out with, the idea that all suffering comes from early childhood trauma, major trauma to the psyche. It just comes from the routine treatment that we receive in this way of life. That's cool. I mean, maybe you were born in a country where there was war and famine and, you know, the obvious horrors that we read about in the newspapers.
Brian's masturbating in the corner.
Yay!
I knew I was going to get somebody out tonight. But most of us, I think, were born in countries where, you know, it was fairly peaceful on the surface. But the routine brutality of civilization gets to just about everybody. And it leaves scars, it leaves wounds, it leaves damage in the psyche. Well, here is the thing that I discovered. The psyche is an organic system, and therefore it is self-healing. The only catch is it requires the proper conditions. And then no matter what has happened to it, rape, murder, well, not murder, then you're dead, torture, abandonment, and maybe the worst thing of all, school. Exactly. This guy's like right there with me. I need a DJ from now on. I'm always going to talk with a DJ. That's the thing about organisms, is that their essential characteristic is self-preservation. That's what makes us organisms. That's what makes us alive. We are self-generating, we are self-maintaining, and we are self-healing. These inherent facts about organic existence are true at every scale of every organism, from the cells to the organs, to the systems, to the organism as a whole. And so the psyche, as an organic system, will heal itself, again, with the proper condition of all healing is rest. And this is where the secret comes in. In an absolutely dark environment, a room where you can't see your hands in front of your face, where even after days inside, you still have to feel your way to the bathroom, because there's not a pinprick of light anywhere, not a haze, not a glimmer. The psyche finds unbelievably deep rest, profound, fathomless respite. And in this profound rest, it begins to piece itself back together from whatever happened to it. Now, in my case, I was born in a typical working-class American family. I was nursed a while. I stopped sleep with my parents sometimes. I was helped sometimes. But as much as they loved me, and of course my parents loved me, they didn't know exactly how to handle this little creature. And in fact, more things happened. Sexual repression. My grandmother sexually abused me. I had a very strange kind of abusive relationship with my older brother. It's like a laundry list, okay? I'm not going to bore you. I know you have your own. But it added up, And by the time I was 15, I was just tied in knots. And then something very strange happened in the middle of this intense depression and alienation, which is very typical, of course, for many teenagers. A ray of light burst in, and suddenly I could see how perfect and beautiful the universe is. And I felt this, I was overcome by joy in response. It was intoxicating. It was very simple and normal. Not overwhelming at all, but just so real and right. Now, I think everybody has had this experience, at least for a moment. But my luck was that I had this experience for 3 months solid.
That is why I have got to catch him this time. To show these kids that the example he sets is a first-class ticket to nowhere.
This is so awesome. It's like call and response. So it gave me time to observe this joy under many different circumstances. And I gained, one, an unforgettable memory, a very solid reference point, and two, absolute conviction that that is how life really is. That all this suffering and chaos that we experience in this way of life is just some senseless joke, an accident, an aberration, a temporary state. Okay, it's been going on for 10,000 years. It doesn't matter. Our essential nature is made to fly, made for joy. So, that's what inspired my search. And at the end, I found an old hippie in Oregon, a funny guy named Finn Poe, a little small and scrawny. Small and scrawny and really helpful. And since he was a hippie from birth, because his dad was a beatnik, he was into all kinds of far-out stuff. And when he told me I had a dark room, which I had heard about from my former spiritual teacher, yeah, I had one of those. I said, no way, Finn, you've got a dark room? It's like, yeah, if you're tired of enlightenment, try and darken it. I said, what's it like? He said, it's a luxury. Well, what do you do in there? How do you do it? Just get in there. Learn what you need to know. So I tried it, and in 60 hours of being in a totally dark room, So I tried it again, and again, and again, and again, and again, and again, and again. I've done it about 18 times. And I've built dark rooms in America, Guatemala, Sweden, Norway. I facilitated retreats for about 25 people. This is a prototype of a new light-proof vent, just to give you an idea. Like, it's concrete. This is a real thing. It's an objective fact. It's like mushrooms. You know, you take mushrooms, something happens. You take acid, something happens. You go into a dark room, something happens. It's unstoppable. It's a physiological response you have to darkness. Because we can't, it's a physiological response, so you can't screw it up. You go into darkness, and your circadian system, controlled by the suprachiasmatic nucleus, a tiny rice-sized organ sitting on top of the intersection of the optic nerves, tells your system, chill out. Just sleep. Just like let go of all those thoughts that are driving you nuts. It really just works that way. What's the time? How are you doing on time?
There's at least another 5-7 minutes left, brother.
Okay, 5-7 minutes. There's another reason why it works. When you're in darkness, all the work that your psyche normally performs to process sensory data is minimized, because sight is the thing that our senses, that our brains and nervous system work the most on. So when you just don't have the data coming in, you don't have to do the work. The other thing is this visual data feeds the mind. Visual data is abstract, the mind is abstract. The data comes in, the mind just goes, yay, more food, fun food, I'm going to think about this now, even if I don't have to. In darkness, that just calms way down. So there's not all this crazy extraneous thinking going on. Other parts of the being start coming to the surface, like feeling, like very, visceral sense of a closer sense of one's own body. Like, oh wow, I'm here. This is like happening. I'm not just spaced out all the time.
Da burde du bare gå med en gang.
Well, did somebody translate this?
Take a cigarette.
Give the monkey a banana.
Okay, should I just ignore it?
No, it's cool. You got another 3 minutes. It's a very interesting speech. Of course.
All right.
Yep.
So the other reason that you rest profoundly in darkness is that all the conditions of rest are provided, not just darkness. So there's nobody else in the room talking. You're alone. You have solitude. It's quiet. It's safe. It's warm. It's comfortable. There's fresh air. You get good food that doesn't screw up your digestion, keep you up at night with weird dreams. And so all of this comes together in a perfect storm of physiological recovery. And as I said, broken parts of the psyche, in my case, things that I had struggled with for decades, just started putting themselves back together. For example, one time, I woke up after a 4-day retreat, and I felt like a grown-up. Now, I was 41 years old, and I have never felt that way before. Even people who were 10, 15 years than me seemed older. And I just felt like a little kid. But that morning, I felt like
You are a little kid.
I love this guy. Somebody buying a drink on you. So, this is the basic idea. I have not, there's of course lots more to know about it. I've written a whole book about it. It is available there for free. You can download it tonight and read it. You can do it, you don't have to tell anybody. And whatever deeply troubles you, you can find relief from, you can find, I dare say, permanent recovery from. And that's my story. So if you have questions, comments, I'm around. I think they want to hop to the next boat quickly. And thank you so much for your rapt attention.
Thank Andrew very, very much. And you guys have to absorb that speech like a black hole. Absorb it in the dark, guys. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to have a little break because we've got to adjust this to keep going straight away.
But you need a dark room. Why don't you have lights before your eyes so you close your eyes even?
Okay, the question was why not just put a sleeping mask or a blindfold on? So the answer is that I have not found a blindfold or a sleeping mask that will stay on reliably. And they are not comfortable after a certain amount of time. And then I gotta eat, I gotta use the bathroom, I gotta take a shower. Also, our skin has light receptors.
Thank you.
Lots of reasons to actually lock the windows and doors on.
Thank you. Now a short break and we start with poetry from Thomas Christensen in 5 minutes.
Vanligt vatten och H2 Mop Ultra tar enkelt bort såväl intorkad smuts som envisa fläckar.
On the App Circle Pro, you'll melt inches and pounds off faster than you could ever imagine.
Thomas Christensen, varsågod.
Smører rastløse timer. Tuggummi smeller smart. Vi er et skrikende, klossede bråk. Hør oss speile vår tid til hver tid. Trang til ugagn ganger 1000. Latter strekker oss lenger hver dag. Størst av det minste. Vi falt mange år. Søtsaker. Verden er fjus og ander. Barndom som bomsukker i munnen. Men borte på et blunk. Farlig, trygg, falt død om. Raskere enn vi kunne stige med våre lange år. Det var det første. dikt her handler om lucid dreaming. Altså det et begrep som omhandler det å være bevisst drømmende. Det vel sikkert mange av oss som har vært. Det et fenomen som som vi alle har opplevd, tror jeg. Det veldig fascinerende å være herre over sin egen drøm. Jeg lukker verden, legger meg i fosterstilling, leviterer over gulvet. Jeg feider gjennom veggen, svart natt, jeg flyr lydløst med bevissthet i seilene. Fordi jeg Gud over den lille død, tilkaller jeg vonde minner, jeg gjør dem bedre. Hjerteslagene farer som torden over himmelen. Alle vonde tanker, gjerninger dør når jeg smiler. Presser kvadrat til sirkler, vann blir til vin, jeg gjør meg til din. Letsel blir omfavnelse. Lucid dreaming, et 5 sekunders epos. Så har vi et dikt her om amfetamin. Og så makka i gatespråket. Det lystig. Ja. Jeg kan ikke mekke makka på kakka, eller kikke på koka på kakka. Makka du, kakke du, kan ikke jeg. Kakka kikker deg ut. Ellers blir det mimringer med mikken. Så har vi på det eksistensielle alvor her igjen. Jeg har kalt diktet for Elven. Vi elven som aldri slutter å renne. Avansert matematikk kan ikke plukke oss fra hverandre. Vi forlot aldri hulen på letning etter den samlede linken. Et kosmisk hjerte i liv fra et sted uten navn. Vi djevler og engler med verden for våre føtter. Det ubegripelige bærer marken vi trår. Vi skaper for å så ødelegge med 1000 kunstige soler. Avmystifisert av virkeligheten med svaret på alt. Enigmas felles bort amerikansk kulde. Hjelpeløst uvitende drukner vi og renner ut i havet. Vi ble en og samme kropp. Takk.
Tusen takk, Thomas. Nå kommer en legendarisk kakadu-skikkelse og Sangan-skikkelse og Oslo-skikkelse. Han trenger ingen introduksjon annet enn navnet. Bror, bror!
Hello. Baby, can you hear me? Så det jo en stor ære å bli invitert her av bolig av oss som liksom forleggeren til boka. Hvor vi har som slagord Love, Life and Furniture. Så vi skal snart få se en i badekaret her. Altså in the bathroom, in the bathtube. Og det jeg kunne ha å si her var omtrent noe i stil med en eller annen idiot. Altså, kunst betyr ingenting. Det ingenting som betyr noe som kunst. Det betydningsfulle i kunst intetsigende. Det som betyr noe i kunst det som ingen forstår. Når man ser på kunst, så har det seg slik at the Cunt of the Dictorn betyr at ingenting betyr noe annet enn at kunst betyr ingenting. Når man ser på forskjellen mellom disse ordene i diktsamlingen her, se det som det står diskret på Facebook, så ser det også noe du kan se på det som skjer mellom det som skjer mellom det som skjer sammen inn i en type samhandling. Cunt jo det diktorn. Det en type illusjon som jeg kan forstå som en type Erland Ginsberg-type poetry. The Cunt of the Dictorn. The Cunt of the Dictorn. Da kan man ta en type anti-rap på en type introduksjon til denne diktsamlingen, som er en av de dårligste diktsamlingene jeg har lest. Det er bare fittepreik. Men det Cunt er en diktform er likevel interessant, slik at jeg vil anbefale alle å kjøpe den, og dermed så sier jeg takk for meg.
Og det tror jeg fra Bror Willy, man kan skryte at han er stater på Svalbard. Hva? Now we have some, so we can have some poetry in the English language.
Can we have a break for
No,
fun?
no.
Shit, more poetry! Oh,
Stop it!
No!
Stop it, man!
Get this over with.
Get this torture!
You know, your voice is bigger than your dick, you know. No.
Stein's Head is basically why we became a partnership to write books, is because I saw the moon coming towards me, the size of Stein's helmet. Yes, he's got a very big head. Physically, his cranium is quite large, as opposed to his ego, which is quite small, and that I congratulate him for. But I was sitting in a forest, kind of like trying to meditate or do whatever I do, which I won't describe right now. And bloody trees and bushes were flying at me, flying towards me. I'm like, oh, this is the apocalypse. What's going on? And then I see the second moon come out, and Stein's knocking shit over here, there, and everywhere, you know? And then he just looks and stares at me and says, Evie, you know what? Gridalaka is pretty cool, but Torngata, it needs renovations. And I'm like, where are you going with this, brother? Where are you going? He goes, look, if me and you could hang out outside, you know, with my cranium, and I look at you, and when you do something that I'm angry at, I shake my head, meteorites will fall off it, and then the council will dig up all along here, and that's Stein is basically responsible for the bettering of the city, and that's why we're here today. Thank you very much, Stein.
Thank you. Then notice the size of a bit each, you know, how big they are. They're actually bigger than his balls, you know. But now we're going to introduce a lady. Yes. And she's from Ireland, and she's living here in Norway, and she has made a book of poems. It's one of the greatest I've read for some years.
Definitely.
So, the honor now to meet Jean Calmack.
Yes!
Hi, thanks for coming. Thanks, guys, for asking me to read. Sometimes when I forget who I am, I turn to the back page of this book and it says, Jean Kavanagh is an Irish poet living in Oslo, Norway. Cool. I'm going to read just a few poems. They're all very short, so don't worry. The first one is about, I grew up in Dublin, but I was living in a very small town in the west of Ireland for a long time. Back in the 90s and 2000s, when things got expensive, people started buying little houses in France and Spain. And this is kind of what this is about. It's called Ithaca, if you know the Greek reference, but that doesn't matter. Tired of Ireland's stranglehold on land and freedom and expense, we dream of reinventing on the continent, on sunny terraces at half the cost, bathe in new beginnings, in lukewarm waters, and unending blue of sky. Learn the language of the local in morning markets, shopping for fresh bread and olives plucked down from surrounding hills. Dinners in the balmy gardens for pale guests who come to envy the shape of suntanned glow. One time I'll wake from dreams of changing skies to wonder how the storms are in the west, and the cry of here is lost among the truth of stones and fields curving down to empty beaches, tired of telling of the bog and hearth, explaining who I am. The unrelenting sun will yield to longing. My heart will fly me back to damp and green, the slow, ancient soak of rain. And there I'll sleep the sleep of heroes home again. And seeing as the theme is storms, this is a poem about kind of like the eye of a storm, but it's written for a friend of mine, and it's at the end of a relationship where you don't even argue anymore. There's just this silence in the center of all this anger. It's called Ash Mountain. Frantic, how the wind times each gust with outdrawn breath, like anger around the corners, walls and windows. Battle weary, hidden under covers, lie the things that fall between us, that started careless, as remarks made, mumbled into coffee cups, in sighs behind a closing door, each glance smoked over with escaping. Canvassing the edges are the half-remembered dreams, once painted into sunlight and the care of morning shadows, replaced by sullen movements through the rooms. Outside the storm, lashes on the eaves. Inside, the eye is silent. And this is a poem about autumn. It's called Nashville. But I was kind of thinking more of the German definition of it being kind of more like pillow talk, if you know what I mean. So it's actually describing the difference between love and sex. Nashville. I want you in a slow October afternoon, light falling leaves in Oslo parks. You take the arm of my borrowed winter coat and open me beneath the layers, defying shadows as we walk through changing air. Instead, in nightfall's separate play, as the earth comes back to mysteries and shapes of ghosts, we enter one warm room with a halo of the cold outside, soft breaths of the inevitable spoken onto skin in those small hours where corners hide from candlelight and keep their secrets safe. This one is self-explanatory. It's called How to Marry a Millionaire. Step 1. Stop hanging out with musicians. All those rooms with instruments on walls, ashtrays and small mirrors, stories of old adventures they still seem to be having, treating the night like they're entitled to the dawn, playing the stages and singing on streets, dreamers with 10,000 hours of ambition, always rehearsing a different conversation, and never too tired for new friends who turn up in old buildings, adding their voice to the sacred sonic flow. And no matter what I do, if I climb the highest mountain, I'd be sure to find another one, strumming the summit on his guitar.
I just want to say
Thank you for saying that.
The all about Big Boss song.
Det går bra med meg.
So I just have a couple more.
Ja, hva er
What's your original beat poet?
Okay. I just want to say one thing before I'm leaving.
I thought you were going to speak.
I thought I was going to speak, but I'm too tired, so I'm leaving. Sorry.
I did a book launch for this book last April, and Stein actually translated this into Norwegian as a special treat for the book launch. And it's about Oslo. It's a place called Bjørkelund, which I think some of you probably know. Bjørkelund. All summer, the birch trees and myself have been having conversations. Sometimes the copper-green church spire joins in. There is hope, he usually says, pointing to the sky. I can never quite remember later what we talked about, daydreams mostly, often of the weather. The trees are kind. Sometimes they dance on purpose because they know I miss the wind. We understand each other perfectly. So lately they have seemed confused that bits of me aren't turning gold and falling off. They are, I reassure them, but with humans, it happens on the inside. And this is the last one. It's one of the very few that rhymes. It's called Trying to Be Good. I'm sure maybe some of you can do this. I am the smile that shines serene, but mischief twinkles in the eye. I am the talk of one great truth, but still remember how to lie. I am the mountain's rocky climb, but often take the cable car. I am the quest for enlightenment, but always stay up after dark. I am the higher melody, but still I'm dancing to the drums. I am the dream in peaceful sleep, but wake before the morning comes. I am the toothpaste of fresh breath, with just a hint of last night's wine. I court the angel's guiding hand, but the devil's an old friend of mine.
One more. We need one more, please, one more. Please.
I don't know if I need to explain this. There's a character in Irish folklore called Swivna, which is translated as Sweeney. And he goes mad after a battle and he goes living up in trees. And he meets a witch one day who challenges him to a leaping contest through the branches. And it's actually, I'm just being a real clever ass because it's about a boy whose surname was Sweeney. So this is about the one who got away. So it's called Swivna and the Witch. And I was the one who sang in trees and wanted to be naked. When we climbed together, he was only remembering. I mistook it for a promise of higher adventures. But it was over long before I arrived. That long, slow felling of the arm of rebellion. A closed fist to upturned palm. A ballet movement followed through to a shrug. The kind of surrender I didn't understand, having never been to war. I had always danced in ranches, never knowing the breaking boundaries or the need to ask permission.
Thank you very much. You know, it's so hot in here. We need to let some fresh air in. You can also go and take some nicotine outside in the refrigerator if you want to. Take a between 5 and 10 minutes break.
I promise you, Stein will be singing opera tonight. We will be singing opera.
Oh yeah!
What are you recording this for?
Not exactly, but I have the bowling ball here because I want to do a suction test between the H2O vac and a very popular canister vacuum, okay?
For lenge siden, 4 år, så bygget vi opp Oslo Polsentrum. Det var 2 karer som gjorde det på, hva kan du, en av de involverte seriøse karene het Adrian Vannsbrø. Jeg synes jeg var litt beskjeden. Kom igjen, ta imot Adrian Vannsbrø! Leser for første gang på lang tid. Men da bør vi Adrian Vannsbrø! I've been sleeping in his bed for the last like 3 days. I'm very itchy. You should change this. You should wash more. Yeah.
We'll talk about it later, you know. Go see the doctor.
Let's just, yeah. When Anders is not there, I'm going to give you one.
I'm looking forward to it.
Okay, stop playing with your dick while you're talking.
Samtidig, et helt annet sted, ligger Utøya øde. Sola står svart og sterk. Anders Behring Breivik griner. Tårene strømmer og svir. Anders Behring Breivik går ned til havet. Thor Heyerdahl suser forbi. Anders Behring Breivik roper til Thor Heyerdahl at han hater denne jævla byen. At han hater hver eneste jævla fitte i hele jævla byen. At mora hans er en jævla hore. Thor Heyerdahl er enig. Vi setter seier. På den 7. dagen når de påskeøyene. Anders Behring Breivik spør Thor Heyerdahl hva alle ansiktene er. Thor Heyerdahl svarer at det er de døde fra langveisfra. Da når himmelen lå åpen for alle å se. Anders Behring Breivik gråter. Thor Heyerdahl legger armene om Anders Behring Breivik. Alt skjelver. Alt åpner seg. Ansiktene åpner seg. Thor Heyerdahl stiger inn. Anders Behring Breivik stiger inn. De farer av sted. Til et annet sted. Ta meg med. Jeg er lei av å jobbe. Lei av å late som. Jeg har mest lyst til å gå på biblioteket og sette meg der. Jeg har mest lyst til å pumpe jern og bli svær, så jeg kan knuse trynet på folk jeg ikke liker. Ansikt mot asfalt, strie strømmer av blod. Jeg låser meg inne på do, svelger en Ribo, vinker til meg selv i speilet, som kongen fra balkongen.
Adrian Vannsbrø! Ja!
Thank you for coming to the Kennel Club. I want to thank also all the poets and everybody who's supporting Ibby. I give him my full support. I try to tell everybody about him. I do tell everybody about him. And I'm going to tell what happened to me this summer. And I don't need the microphone, do I?
Yeah, you do.
Okay, okay.
No, you don't.
No. Okay then. Okay, this summer I went on a trip with a bunch of Norwegian poets and writers, some of who I knew from previous arrangements I had been a part of. We took the bus and I talked about a novel on the way, and then we got there to the bus stop, and I walked out onto the pavement and I looked around and I saw blue skies and I saw green forests that were speckled with darker patches that the clouds were casting on them. And a singer who didn't roll his R's drove us through the countryside to the fjord where the villa was, where this arrangement was going to take place. There was the villa, and then there was the fjord, and there was a green mowed lawn around the villa, and everybody was lying on the grass, and there was berries there that I started plucking, and I started eating them. There were blackberries, they were delicious. The host was a man who had written a book. He was a lawyer who had become a writer, and he was talking to his wife on the phone while his girlfriend was sitting next to him with eating crisps, and he's talking to his child and telling his child, yeah, everything's all right, go to bed and stuff. And so then we started, the night fell, and we started getting more close to each other. We started talking to each other about things that were really close to us, and this couple, a married couple who were playing music for us, they, the husband and myself, we talked about the last publication that the Danish philosopher Kierkegaard had published, which was called Kierkegaard, which means graveyard. Yeah. And the publication was called Øyeblikket, and Øyeblikket in English means literally means the look of the eye, but it means the moment. And so we talked about that, and then they went to sleep, and then there was only one writer left who had written a book called The Dance of the Dark, and as the dawn came upon us, the writer and myself decided to walk out into the fjord and try ourselves at fishing, trout fishing. And Bror Willis was talking about how this was all kind of like a beat poetry thing. This Cunt the Dick Storm, but he got the reference wrong. It wasn't Ginsberg, it was Breutigam who wrote a book about trout fishing, and where trout fishing just becomes a mantra, like the Cunt the Dick Storm, where it all just everything is the Cunt of the Dick Storm.
Oh yeah, no, I think you're being a little bit of a misogynist. You're relating cunts with fish. You can't relate cunts with fish. That's not.
Anyway, so we were trying to fish, and we didn't catch any fish. But as we were trying to catch the rainbow trout, it was dawning, and the whole sea, the fjord, started looking like a giant rainbow trout. And then he said, "I'm going to bed," and I said, "Okay, I'm going to get into this." Good night, I said, and I'm going to get into this big banana canoe. And then I filled my backpack with a bottle of water. I put some spray cans in it, and I paddled out as the sun started rising over the hilltops. And then it took me an hour. I passed some little islands on the way, and then I got to this little island. I put the boat up onto the rocks, and there was like a big box the size of an elevator, and it was probably an electrical generator of some sort. And then I walked up on a path that a car had probably made. And thank you, thanks for the support. And you can come on the guided tour. And then I saw an abandoned skateboarding ramp that was totally broken, and I started crying because I'm a skateboarder and I don't like to see such things. And then I walked on and I came up to a place that was totally, the grass was mown, and there was a school-like building there, and I climbed into the window of the school-like building, and there was a piano there, and I sat down at the piano and I sang, can you find a way to blue? I couldn't even find make the lyrics, but I sang the song, I played the chords, and then I found a canteen where there was like, it looked like people had just left the place. And then I found a book in a box, and I picked it up, and it was telling the story about the island. And I read the book, and I cried some more, and I screamed, and I got into my canoe, and I paddled back to the villa, and all the writers were getting ready to leave, and we walked to the bus stop, and then a Polish man, Richard, stopped his van and said, "Hey, get in, everybody get in." And I said, "I'll get in." And then so I got in, and then he drove me back to Oslo just in time to do my guided tour that I do tomorrow at 1 o'clock. And I told all the people about what I had just experienced at the island. And I can feel now that it's still, that experience is still with me. And it's just like Andrew was saying, I mean, it's really traumatizing. It really is. We've all been scarred by it. And if you think it's ironic, then all the better for you. But you know, there's other types of humor. There's slapstick. Oh, so here's a funnier piece. It's called The Big Bra, and for this piece, I'm going to wear a big bra.
Well, actually,
no, I'm not going to wear a big bra. But there's a pretty lady.
Do it. Just do it.
No. There's a pretty lady who works at a bookshop in Oslo. She has the biggest pair of natural breasts I've ever seen. Her name is Linda, which means pretty, beautiful in Spanish. I've been going into that bookshop regularly because I like bookshops, but also because I hope to catch a glimpse of Linda. I have a big bra that I want to give her, but my favorite thing. But a close friend of mine. A close friend of mine who has also big breasts told me not to do so, and she said, just wear the bra yourself. And so that's what I was going to do tonight. I was going to wear a big bra, but ha det bra!
Thank you.
Thomas!
Who's going to win now?
Mr. Price? Do we have a Price in the house? Yes? Thank you, Evie. Woohoo!
No, really, my name is Thijs, but it's spelled with T-A. Right, I'm here to...
Kan jeg snakke på norsk? Og vi skjønner norsk, så jeg kommer til det.
Jeg stiger opp av tåken som en kråke. Flyr over byen bare for å overvåke. Observere alt det som skjer der nede. Det eneste jeg vet er at skjebnen er en flåte som vi flyter på. Og det hjelper ikke å flykte når jeg flyr over byen for å finne meg et bytte så kryptisk. For alt du ser er kråketegn. Egyptiske symboler som sier at enden snart er nær. Forstå det der, og tro meg du vil bli så gæren. Som en fisk er fanget i et garn, så er vi i en labyrint. Det som skjer foran nesen din er bare til pynt. De fleste labber rundt og later som det ikke finnes. Forsøker å forsørge seg på økonomisk vis. Det finnes ingenting som kan stanse ubalansen. Brått så slutter strømmen, og det blir den siste dansen. Men sanser du de 4 elementer? Setter deg ned og venter, så kanskje du finner et senter. Jord, ild, vann og luft. Se det, bruk det, drikk det og pust. Det er ikke noe pes, og det er ingen hemmelighet at grunnen til at vi havnet på den blå planet er kjærlighet.
Yeah.
Just slow, sir.
A little bit of beats, but Burl Willa is usually very good with the beats. Where's Burl?
This poem is called Fitteøye I pikkstormen. Ja, jeg har stjålet fra han her. Fitteøye I pikkstormen lukker seg sakte. Jeg holder ut hånden og sier kom, men den hører meg ikke. Den rører seg ikke, hun holder seg for øya og forlater seg selv. Jeg spør henne igjen, hva skjedde I kveld? Har du et hjem? Hvor det du skal? Har du helt glemt deg selv? Alt du har blitt fortalt. Helt siden hun var en liten pike, har hun stått for det gode I hver person hun har møtt, støttet seg på de som står støtt, løpt om noen sa løp, kjøpt om noen sa kjøp. Og når pikkstormen kommer, så går hun I sitt mønster, skaper et monster, helt uten at hun enser sine grenser. Det blir en dans på Torneroses livløse kropp. En lengsel trenger inn gjennom døren som satt på gløtt. Alt blir rett når pikkstormen har vært på tokt. Men bare vent til Fitteøye våkner opp. Jeg kan se at stormen fortsatt blåser godt. Men nå har den låst seg inne I et bittelite kott. Helt innerst I det innerste indre av hennes øye. Der det så stille at ikke engang løgn kan få spille. Men hun må lukke det opp. Hun må lukke det opp. For pilene de triller inn I hennes kropp. Og 1000 drømmer går I knas når hun skjønner at man ikke kan rømme fra stormen. Pikkstormen som river henne I filler fra utsiden, men inn kommer han ikke. For I Fitteøye I pikkstormen det alltid stille.
Alright guys, what we're going to do is if everybody's talked right now, we're going to have a little break and then go for the finale, which will be Stein and myself talking a bit about elaborating on the content of these songs.
Shut up, guys, and let the poet talk.
Det første diktet mitt heter Påvåging. Uansett hva som skjer, så det alltid taust rett etterpå. Når alle skal bestemme seg et lite øyeblikk for hva som skjedde nå nettopp, og hva de syns før noen har blitt spurt. Som heter skredfare. Mellom orda ligger de usynlige bokstavene og truer med å røske språket og moralen ut av rammene vi blitt enige om.
Of Rothbury attempted to get some rest. Police continued their search after dark.
Private insurance, along with his keen, eco-conscious sense of adventure, is IEI.
Whatever Steinholtz said, do not listen to him. Don't listen to Stein.
Yeah, listen to him.
Just listen to Stein. He said,
Just
don't
listen to
listen to me. What?
Yeah, just listen to you.
Okay, we're going to take a break, I think. If everybody else is read, we're going to take a 5-minute break. And then... Don't worry, when I do get a little bit of a stage, when I do get a little bit of the... I don't know. It would be kind of like a... Keep going. Should I say like a lineup, but I mean like a... Come on, get back, get out! Go with it. Far on! Fan. I'm a fan of Stein's. I'm going outside. Right now I'm taking a break and I'm coming back. So let's Okay. We'll do the first poem. But we have to do it in a way that is slightly predictable. So I guess, well, the title of the book is, what was it?
The Cunt of the Dick Store.
Okay, every time you hear that phrase, is that a phrase? Does it mean anything? Can we define it? Can you boo it?
Yeah, boo it. I licked it.
That's right. Say it. Look, if I ask for applause, if I ask for a clap, it appears arrogant. Man, I'm just looking for self-confidence here. So fucking boo me. All right? Fuck you. That's it. Can we have it a bit louder? Just boo it. You can boo a bit better than that.
You suck an entire dick storm.
Okay, let's start.
Let's
Are you finished now? Okay? Finished?
Yeah, alright.
People don't want to listen to your trash talk anymore. Let's start. Dick
Storm!
Walking through the
gentle
rain.
Watching.
I had to do.
Listening.
To
rockets.
You suck.
Exploding.
And that was 2 words.
Inside.
Still.
In.
The.
Distance.
Fuck you, you can't read. It says memory on the page. What are you, you're always out of that. Still in the
memory
of
the Cunt
the
Dick Storm.
Magnificent! Alright. As I promised, we're going to do a little bit of a fucking... Fuck off! We've got like a beautiful opera house happening out there somewhere where once upon a time there were birds flying and trees swinging and this opera. The beautiful Norwegian opera. So we will do a prom in opera. It's called You want me to show you what poetry is?
No, keep your pants on.
Well, I'll show you what poetry is, but let me first sing the opera, and then the next song after the break will be really what poetry is, and then you'll see if you want to come back to a next poetry recital.
There is no break.
Yes, I do understand your poison.
Because sing it again.
You took dietary advice from the experts, because any advice you consumed constipated you. So try to flush! This book anti-clockwise down the toilet. Or some... Guys, I'm gonna beat the fuck out of you if you talk again.
Shut up!
And let Stein talk.
Do we have poetry or do we have alcoholism?
What's the difference?
What's the difference?
There is no difference. Make yourself shut the fuck up.
I just had some poetry.
Yeah, I think we need Mr. Orwell on this.
Because I, of the deep storm, the sky is burning above me.
Now wait, guys, be quiet for fuck's sake! It's Mr. Steinholter reciting poetry. If you want to talk, then talk.
I watch when you talk.
Okay. Because I, of the deep storm, the sky is burning above me. I can see the